All right, are you done with Diablo, Scott, or do you need a couple minutes?
No, I'm done.
All right, so this basically picks up right as we left off last week. So after she reveals to you that there's a hidden past that you don't remember, uh, she basically says that she'll have to do a ritual in order to bring it back out. Um, Harrison comes up and starts kind of poking around her and asking questions, and she gets kind of frustrated with him, kind of kicks him away, and tells him that she's a powerful druid and she can definitely handle the ritual. Um, she goes off for several minutes and starts gathering different kinds of like herbs, different kinds of plants, and she gets out a mortar and pestle and starts uh, grinding those herbs up into like a fine powder. She then goes into her brother's rucksack and gets out some fat that looks like it would be used for cooking, and she mixes the herbs into there. Uh, and it looks like she's made some sort of a paste. At that point, she tells you all to come forward, and she's going to put this on you.
Okay, I'll go along.
I'll step forward.
All right, she smears it on your forehead, and within a few seconds, your perception of the world starts to change. Um, she tells you should definitely sit down because it's not going to be pleasant. So her and her brother help you sit down. Uh, the world that you know starts fading, and you begin waking up into a world that you once knew. As you're sitting there, you can still somewhat hear the people in the background. So if you try and communicate with Kellic, Alina, Harrison, or anyone else in the camp, you can, but it's not going to be very consistent. Um, as you wake up in a town that you're very confused that it's even here. It really shouldn't exist. You're in the small town of North Haven. Jeremy, it's actually your home. And Scott, you were actually stationed in the large port city of Stormport, which is the purple dot up in the Northlands. Uh, North Haven is the yellow dot. North Haven is a small community outside of Stormport. Stormport is actually the largest seaport in the Northlands and one of the largest in the entire world. Uh, as you start thinking back on your time in Stormport, it becomes very hard because the town of Stormport doesn't actually exist. And in your mind, it's never actually existed. Uh, at first, you start trying to try to figure out if this is an illusion, but there's something about it that rings true, and so you allow yourself to basically go with the visions.
Okay. Did you change to the world map?
Oh yeah, I guess I should move you guys to the world map. So there we go. The purple dot is the port of Stormport, and then North Haven is like an agrarian community just outside of Stormport. Stormport has a large military presence from the Confederation. Even though it's in the Northlands, the Confederation basically has an outpost there. The idea being that they would help to fight off any fell creatures if they ever started coming over the Great Mountain Range. North Haven is known for mostly being agrarian. It supplies Stormport with most of its food, but there's also something very important that it has and very strategic. Another reason that Doric likes to have men up there. The largest salt mine in all the kingdoms is actually there, which is incredibly important because there's a lot of fishing villages up and down the coast, and the salt, of course, helps preserve it. Uh, so it's a very important center for trade, even though North Haven itself would just be sort of like a small little dale, basically. So Cathan, you're a human, right?
Yeah.
All right. You live at home with your parents. Your dad has actually been injured in the last 6 months. He was a farmer, and he was in an accident where an oxen basically trampled on him, broke one of his legs and one of his arms, and he hasn't been able to work since then. Your mother's tried to raise the crops, but she hasn't been able to do it very successfully. You have three younger siblings, so you're the oldest at like 14 or 15. So you've been helping around on the farm, but there's something inside you that desires to leave the farm life and go do something else. Um, Scott, you've been stationed in Stormport. Uh, you were actually just sent on a mission with several other soldiers to go to the town of North Haven. On the way, you were actually attacked, and even with all of your skill, you're not really sure who the enemy was. They struck really quickly, and one of your great friends, he was actually your mentor. By this point, you're already part of Doric's special assassin unit, essentially. This man named Thalen was actually your mentor. He's actually been severely hurt, and on the way to Haven, several of the other men basically had to drag him on a travois. He's been put up there for healing, and you have been trying to figure out essentially who caused this. So the big news is that Kalina the Elder, one of the best known elves in all the lands, is actually going to be here in about a month's time. Uh, Everyone sort of knows the story of her. She was one of the seven who helped defeat the Velsaku, and she goes around the world sort of telling their story over and over to people, just to make sure that they know the story of the seven and it never dies out. The seven are immortal, and she's probably the oldest of all of them since she was already an elf at the time that they fought the Velsaku. So the entire town is incredibly excited that she's going to be there, and that's really the big news at this point.
All right. Well, I'm gonna shoot it up the chain of command through my command structure that some unknown enemy ambushed us, and with the important visitor coming soon, it could be a plot to do away with her or something like that.
So as you're talking to one of your compatriots, a man who you know somewhat walks in. His name's Jorik. He is an elderly Vanzik man, elderly probably like in his 60s. He actually lost a leg in a battle years ago, and he has a wooden leg. In the Vanzik culture, only the strongest is able to keep leading. Yet he keeps defeating younger people in battle year over year, even though he only has one good leg. Uh, he's he's started to slow down in his years, but he's still a very powerful warrior. Um, he walks into the building where your friend is being treated, Dalen's being treated, and he looks around and just trying to figure out who's in charge. It was obvious that Thalen would have been the one in charge. Excuse me, boy. He looks down at you. You're obviously a lot older than him, but you appear much younger. Who's going to be in charge now that Thalen has been injured?
Well, I believe I am next in command.
Tell me what happened. How could this have happened to such a great warrior?
We were ambushed. The enemy was unknown. They struck very quickly and very ferociously.
That much is obvious. He looks down at Thalen. Um, Thalen has a couple of lacerations to his ribs. It might have actually punctured his lung. He's lost a bit of blood, but he should probably survive. He's got several other random broken bones, but he's going to be out of commission for a while. He's also currently unconscious, so he hasn't been able to talk to you. He sort of reaches down and like sticks his hand inside the lacerations, kind of like moves his flesh to the side. Thalen's passed out, so he can't hurt, but had he been awake, it probably would have significantly hurt. These wounds are very odd. What kind of creature do you think made these?
I do not know. If I knew what type of creature it was, I would have told you straight off.
The claws must be incredibly long, but it wasn't a bear. The pattern would be completely wrong. This is very troubling.
It was no form of common wildlife. It was some kind of, I don't know.
I wish I had more resources to help you, but I've actually come begging your help today. What is your name, good sir?
My name is Kieran Tessarian.
Kieran, I thank you for being here in North Haven, and I offer you anything that I can in the way of respect and help. However, there is a problem. It's possible that it's related to what happened to your friend, but I definitely need your help. Several men were killed last night down in the salt mine. At least 10 people were murdered. Uh, Primitive weapons, it looks like, but there could be more down in there. We have no idea what form of creature did this slaying, but as you can see, North Haven does not have much of its own in the way of a defense force. Uh, you and your men are going to be the best we have. Plus, I'd like to actually offer a bounty for some of the locals to accompany you and try and help out with this problem.
The salt mines are very important for the Confederation in the Northlands. We will handle this problem.
Aye, our king and Doric are the greatest of friends, and we would never do anything to compromise that. Thank you, Lord Tessarian.
You are quite welcome, but I am no lord.
Very well. He starts hobbling back out. Uh, so essentially, you're going to be in charge of dealing with this problem however you want. You probably have 2 or 3 good men that you can take with you. Your group probably would have been about 10 or 15, but you've actually sent some people back to warn about the attack on Thalen, and a couple of them are going to have to stay with Thalen to guard him.
Okay. I point out 3 good men. Yeah. Point out 3 good men. You men are with me. The rest of you look after our commander and keep an eye on the roads and prepare a plan of defense if these creatures come into town.
Aye, sir. They start pulling out some maps on a table and talking about how they could possibly defend the city.
All right.
So I'll also mention he left you a couple of 100 gold coin when he left in order to raise a force to go deal with this.
All right. I go out and see if I can recruit some locals.
How are you gonna go about it? Are you gonna hang something up or get a town crier, or what are you gonna do?
Yeah, I'm gonna go to. I think first I'm gonna go to the town center and get a. Guess I could use one of my. I'm gonna send my 3 men out in 3 different directions through town to see if they can find some able-bodied, willing people, and I will wait at the town center.
All right, Cathan, you're outside working in the like the bean patch in front of your tiny little house, and you see a soldier, not a Vanzik soldier, but one from somewhere far away. You're not really sure where. He comes up near your house, several hundred yards away, near some other houses, and he starts yelling out, "Good money for any brave enough to help Lord Doric in cause to help defend North Haven."
I'll start walking towards it.
As you do, your mom comes out and she grabs you and tries to hold you back. Where do you think you're going?
Where do you think I'm going? You've heard as well as I do. You and I can't keep guiding this one oxen to try to keep plowing this field. We're going to need help if we're going to make it in the long term, and that's going to take coins.
We don't need money. We have beans. We'll survive the winter. I promise we will. Don't go.
I'm not father. I can't take an entire field and harvest it by myself, and Sasha and Yorin are too young themselves this year. We'll have enough beans to live off of, but we won't have anything to be able to replace any of the things we need.
But you know Yoren has the cough. I mean, this is not a good time to leave. I need you here to help take care of them.
All the more reason we need the coins for the medicine. It's not like we can send Sasha out in the woods to gather those wild herbs by herself.
She's 6 now. She's old enough to go gather herbs.
Not with the wildlife acting as queerly as they would. Father wouldn't have done that.
He's rounded up a couple of people and he's getting ready to walk away.
I'm going to get great-grandfather's armor, and I'm going.
The soldier turns towards you. You! Boy, are you coming?
Yes, sir, I only need a few minutes to gather belongings.
You have 3.
I'll run to the house and grab great-grandfather's armor.
So approximately an hour later, your people come back. They've gathered about 20 people who are interested. Among the standouts are a 14-year-old human boy in some armor that looks like it's way too big for him. There's also a strikingly beautiful young girl with jet white hair, and next to her is her brother, who's obviously a twin, with bright red hair. They're they're obviously Vanziks. Quite a lot of the people are Vanziks or Viking type people. Some of them look like they might be warriors, but for the most part, this is a pretty green ragtag group. Anyone who might consider themselves a warrior may have been in a fight with like a neighboring town years ago, but they're not exactly battle hardened.
Sometimes I wonder about you men. I send you out for swords and you bring me pretty young girls and little boys.
She hears that and sort of puffs up. Excuse me, I am not a pretty young girl. Who do you think you are talking to?
uh, Tell me, young lady, can you delve into the depths of the salt mines and fight whatever monstrous beasts are inside, knowing full well that uh, you may be taken and murdered or eaten or any number of horrible, terrible things by whatever creatures have done this. These creatures, whatever they are, have already murdered 10 strong men.
She grabs her quarterstaff and holds on to it and says, "The nature will never let any harm happen to me. Plus, as you can see, my brother is definitely well enough to protect me."
Well, I suppose that confidence is half the battle.
Before the end of this day, you'll eat the words of little girl. I will perform better than any of your men.
If this is true, then I will gladly concede. What about you, boy? What are you doing here? Shouldn't you be gathering berries for your father?
Speak for yourself. What does it look like I'm doing here? At least I came prepared. Looks like half these people don't even know what a weapon is.
Do you
What-
know how to use that weapon?
I'm a Vonzig. What do you think?
I think I see a young boy with his grandfather's old rusty armor.
I've oiled this armor once a week for the past month and a half, and if you insult my family one more time, I won't need my dead father to get revenge for our honor. I'll do it myself by bashing your head in.
All right, roll initiative. All right, just then one of Scott's men standing right next to him pulls his sword and begins swinging at you.
At me?
No, 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 Jeremy.
He'll get to go first.
Does an 8 hit you?
I can sidestep that. No, it does not hit me.
All right, he tried to strike at you with a longsword. What would you like to do in return?
A check swing on my mace.
What do you mean by a check swing?
If I hit, I don't want to break his face.
Okay.
Basically, want to tap him in the armor instead of actually breaking his arm.
All right, roll. All right, you miss. He decides to strike back. All right, your guy misses again. Scott, Jeremy.
I'm gonna check swing again. Yeah, I probably tapped him in the helmet. Because that's a natural 20.
All right, you hit him right in the helmet and knock him backwards. Uh,
Were you a monster of the mine, I would have followed through.
Hold, soldier. What do you think you're doing attacking this boy?
Sir, he threatened you. I was just making sure he knew his place.
If anyone here wants to show me my place, I will show them theirs. I defend my own honor.
Yes, sir. Sorry, sir.
Well, boy, it seems you know how to swing that oversized hammer. If you're willing to take the risk, you are welcome to come along.
Yes, sir.
The rest of you, you girl, and your brother, you look tough enough. The rest of you, I have no need of pitchforks or farmers to get underfoot.
You hear some grumbling, but the rest of them start walking off back to their houses. It's actually gonna be a really good split. I thought you were gonna take a bunch of people, but 100 gold split. Well, you don't have to split it evenly with them, but probably still be a nice haul for some farmers.
Yeah, I just don't want to get any of those other ones killed.
So Kellic, the red-headed barbarian, steps up to you, Jeremy, and says, "Not a bad swing. You're gonna get yourself killed, but not a bad swing." He then reaches behind you and helps set your armor in place a little better. A little big, but it'll do. So Elena looks over. So, what is this task that we've been hired for?
The salt mines have been overrun by some sort of creature. We're going to investigate. 10 men have been lost in the mines this last week. We're to cleanse the mine and restore production.
She and her brother sort of look at each other, and you actually see some doubt on her face. The mines? We're just going with, like, the seven of us?
Well, there's still time to back out if you're unsure of yourself.
I would never back down from any challenge. She starts marching in front of you towards the direction of the mine.
Has anybody reported back from the mines?
All we know is that 10 men have died in the mines, and the local commander has asked me to assist in this problem.
One of your men says, there were no survivors. The bodies were found this morning on shift change. The men who went down came immediately back up. The reports say that they were stabbed with some sort of primitive type weapon. We'll know more when we can get down ourselves and investigate.
There you have it. Let's move out, men. And girl.
Alright, the trip to the mine takes like 45 minutes on foot, so it's not really significant. As you get to the outside, the mine itself is actually it's not just like a cave in the ground. It's been worked for years. So there's a cart that can pull you down deeper into the mine. Uh, the facing itself sort of goes maybe 100, 200 feet inside, and it's a large cavern. There's some safety equipment like ropes, torches, uh, the kind of thing you would expect in a mine as you come inside. So if there's any provisions that you want to look for, go ahead and try and grab them now.
Okay.
Torches, flint and steel, rope, all of the above, because I came with armor and a weapon, but probably none of those things.
Soldiers, out torch. My soldiers pull out torches and light them. I, however, do not carry a torch. I don't need one. All right. You younglings, you stay with my 3 soldiers. I will move ahead. I need no torch. I can see perfectly in this mine.
Alright, so these are not 5 foot spaces. So starting over here, essentially, is the entrance to the mine. Um, there's a detailed map of the mine at the entrance. You know that the bodies were found in this general area, but since you're not incredibly familiar with it, you will have to kind of navigate through. But it's not going to be incredibly difficult because you do have basic outline of at least this level. That is once you ride the cart down. We'll say that you had one extra person from the town who can lower everyone down. It'll take several minutes, probably half an hour, to raise everyone and to lower everyone down into the mines.
Okay, I go first. Rapier's drawn.
So as you proceed through, like the first part, You don't really notice anything out of the ordinary. Uh, there is, of course, residual salt on the ground. The air inside the mine is incredibly dry. It dries up your eyes, it dries up your mouth almost as soon as you got inside. Um, Most of the floor is fairly stable, but every now and then, almost seemingly without notice, the white rock underneath will actually have some salt on it and will become slippery. So any climbing or any combat, you're going to have to be careful to make sure that you do not fall. There's already some torches along walls, like right here, right here, right here. Sort of all throughout. This is the first main salt chamber, right over here. It's actually been mostly mined over the years. So there's now like some recreation type area. There's some tables sort of set up over here with with like some food on the wall so that people can come eat and provisions for water here. Most of the mining is done further in. So let's say we've scouted like to this level, and so far you haven't seen anything of note.
Okay. Just want to say as I'm moving ahead, I'm just outside of Torchlight, and if they catch me up in the Torchlight, they're to stop and hold, and there's possibly something going on. So I'm just going to continue on like that.
Okay, as you get to right here, make a what is it? Is it a listen check these days, or have they changed that?
I believe it's perception.
All right, make a perception check. Any of you guys can. All right, Scott, you can hear some whispering off in the distance. You can't really tell what it is, but you do hear voices, multiple of them. The problem is that since it's echoing throughout the caverns, it's hard to pinpoint exactly which direction it's coming from. They do not sound like human voices, though.
Can I recognize the language?
You do not.
All right, I gesture back to the party for absolute quiet, and we move forward.
As you do, the red-headed barbarian sort of tries to get your attention. Goblins.
I nod at him.
So which way do you want to go?
We're just gonna, I guess, move down towards the south and around that way.
Okay. After a couple of minutes walking, you definitely hear that there are at least a couple of voices coming from this part of the caverns. They're trying to be somewhat quiet, but they're not doing a very good job at it, basically.
All right. I'm gonna tell the party to hold fast. I'm gonna sneak closer to try to see what it is and how many of them there are.
While he's doing that, am I aware of my powers just yet? Because considering this is
Which powers are you talking about?
clerical powers, healing, spells.
Let's say that you've always had a knack for it, but you don't really know what clerical powers really are. But in the past, you've been able to heal minor ailments and that sort of thing.
Okay, so I would have some sort of like traveling medical kit with me then. That makes sense. Okay.
Can you check and see if you can move him, Scott?
Yes, I can.
All right. So as you enter this part of the cavern, there are two goblins. They're actually they're not paying attention to you. They actually have some sort of like pick and trowel, and they seem to have found like a soft spot in the wall, and they're trying to pick at it. It's not a place that has salt though. It kind of looks like they're looking for something else.
All right. I take out my mirror and signal back to the others with the torchlight to move forward quietly and join me. Do you have tokens for the twins, or are you trying to find some now?
Yeah, I was trying to find some right now. There's never the exact right one that you want. No, I need to make character sheets for them. All right, he basically walks right up with you, and she sort of stands in the back. Uh, let's say that Cathan is feeling very brave, so he steps up right with you guys too. Uh, one of your guys is turned around, basically watching the rear, so he won't participate. But then you got two other guys who are ready to charge in with you, if that's what you order.
All right, their orders are the one to watch the rear, the other two are to watch the other entrance to this little cavern, and the rest of us will take out these two goblins.
All right, let's roll some initiative.
I don't have control of my token.
What about now?
I've got it now, but I already rolled my initiative.
All right, Kellic sort of shrugs. Nobody else is attacking, so he runs up and he swings his great axe at the first guy. Let me see if he can make it there. He can. But unfortunately, he misses. Cathan, you're next. And 16 is going to hit. So you smack that guy pretty good, taking him completely by surprise, and he looks like he's incredibly hurt.
I just smirk venomously.
All right, she sort of like quickly glides up, hits this guy in the back of the head, and he looks significantly hurt too. All right, he swings a short sword at Alina, but he misses. All right, Kieran.
Move up here and out rapiers.
And I think it's safe to say you're going to kill him.
Yeah, 29.
Does a 13 hit you, Jeremy?
No, it does not, although it does sink my armor, which is something my character's not used to yet.
And he misses again. Cathan, your turn.
You just, Cathon, you just saw the dude that was in command of the soldiers come up, flashing his rapiers in a blur of motion, and just slice that goblin up and down.
I probably didn't see squat. I'm too focused on my own fight.
It's kind of crazy what he can do at first level. Well, until he gets hit, that is.
Yeah, that's true.
Alright, and you finish off the second goblin.
I don't think I'm going down anytime soon. It's hot in here.
Collect yourself, boy. This is just the first skirmish of a larger battle. I say that as I'm wiping the blood of my rapiers off on the thing's clothing.
I look at their hands. My character's obviously been very smart his whole life. Do those kind of look like the claws that tore apart our people up there?
No. I mean, the goblins have tiny little claws. I mean, you've seen Vanzix who have nails as long as these goblins. It's definitely not what ripped through the soldiers.
Their short swords doesn't look like that did it either.
No. I mean, they're small sized short swords. They're nothing special. Plus, I mean, uh, looking at Kieran, you can tell that he's well trained. Um, I'll tell you that his mentor, at this point, way beyond what Kieran is. So, uh, Kieran could attest to the fact that no goblin could have done that to his mentor.
No 10 goblins. I'm gonna inspect the wall to see what they were digging at.
So it really looks like they were sort of like clumsily just digging into a weak spot in the wall. There's actually a vein of salt, maybe 10 feet away, which would have actually benefited them pretty well. They could use it. They could sell it. They could do a lot of things with the salt, but they're completely ignoring it. There's also a lot of valuable equipment that's sitting around that they don't seem to care about. Uh, Other than the fact that it's just like a weak spot in the wall that they just seem to be randomly digging at, you can't really tell anything.
Okay, I suggest we push forward.
Do you think they could have tried to be caving this in?
Kellic looks at you. He like kind of looks up at the cave, around. He's like, "This cave was blasted out by dwarves. I don't think this is coming in by a couple of goblins."
Yeah, but my grandpa told me goblins aren't very bright, so...
Alina speaks up. Apparently, you're not very bright either.
I hushed them. Silence! I motion them to get back into position, and I go back forward to do some more scouting.
So you managed to make it with your normal scouting pattern up to the point where it's obvious that the men were killed. Um, As you get there, there's blood all around. All 10 bodies are still laying there because essentially the group came down to relieve them, found out that they were dead, and then basically ran in panic. Um, these people were not killed in the same way as the soldiers who were attacked. If you look at them, it's pretty obvious that these were like crude goblin attacks. They were basically unarmed except for some pickaxes. Uh, there's one goblin they managed to kill before they all went down. But it looks like they were pretty much taken by surprise. Some of them killed where they were still working. This area seems to be where they're focusing their mining recently. Um, if you want to search the area for any other clues, you guys can.
First thing I want to look at is I want to see if the miners still have their coin pouches. Because if they do, then it wasn't just like a robbery. It was something like they were protecting something back.
Uh, yes, nobody has had any coins or anything that looks like it's a value taken.
Curious. Okay, I instruct one of my soldiers to gather up the coin pouches to deliver it to these men's families. And I throw a couple of gold in each one.
Roll a perception check. Anybody else want to roll?
The dice, they love me, at least right now.
I'm getting a new map set up. What'd you roll?
Total of 20.
All right. Right as he's handing out the coins to his men, you hear some snarling coming up behind you. Did you hear that?
Shh, behind us!
I immediately look to see what made the boy break silence.
Oh, sweet. I just realized I can just change the map. I don't have to like go to a new setting each time. So as you turn around to see what was causing the commotion, it's actually pretty obvious. There's a fairly large group, 8 of these goblins now, uh, moving towards your direction. One thing you notice, this area really isn't as well lit. It looks like some of the torches went out during the fighting. Um, these goblins have red glowing eyes for some reason. All right, who would like to roll initiative? You know what? I'm actually just going to do these guys in pairs of 2. That's going to take forever. All right. Alina is the first one to go, but she is going to hold her action. One of your guys notices the threat. He turns and begins attacking this one. Ooh, that's not good. Uh, 10 points of damage, Scott.
That's all my hit points.
All right, so this goblin runs up and gets you with a lucky blow, due to you focusing on the battle over here, and you go down. So, Jeremy, I don't have the player's handbook out. So, can you look something up for me real quick?
What you need?
Cure wounds. How much does that do?
D8 plus spellcasting modifier. Because we can only prep it at first level.
Where on the sheet is spellcasting modifier? Is that intelligence or wisdom or what?
For a druid, it's wisdom.
All right, you get 7 points back. As she touches you and the healing flows through you, she looks at you and says, "Treat them like you did before." I don't have the heart to make anything bad happen to you guys right now.
Well, that's good, I suppose.
All right, Kieran, your turn.
Um, let's see. The guy right next to me, he's actually on the line. Is he up a space right next to me?
Yeah, he's actually right next to you. There's unfortunately two sets of lines, but if you look at like the lighter colored hex lines, those are the ones that are actually snapped to. So yeah, he's right next to you.
Okay, it looks to me like he's right on the line. So good. So the guy that just hit me, he's within 5 feet of that guy, so he's gonna get rapied.
Oh, wait, there's only one goblin next to you. Who are you talking about? Oh, that's Alina. That's the druid girl. Oh, you're saying is she within 5 feet of her? Oh, no. Okay, gotcha. Sorry about that. Having a blonde moment.
It happens.
All right, so you rolled a 19 on the first, so that one definitely hits. And that will kill him outright. This guy's getting insanely lucky.
Until you said that.
And this guy gets a lucky shot and takes down one of your men. All right, Cathon.
Of course, he was rolling a d26, which is pretty freaking scary, but you can get that number on 2d6 as well, so I'll let it stand.
Wait, was that really a D26? Okay, let me re-roll that. All right, he's still up. I'll have to remember the D26
I didn't even catch that.
for when you really want to fuck your players up. How did you roll 25 on attack? All right, Cathon, what are you gonna do?
Take a step up and smash the one in front of me, but I can't seem to turn my character. He's at an angle that I can't turn.
Can you move him at all?
I can move him, I just can't rotate him.
Are you touching this little box out in front of him?
Yeah, that's what I was touching.
Huh, I'm not sure why you can't turn him. Weird.
This happened to me once before.
BAM! Why the hell is it at first level your character's more deadly than 5th or 6th?
Because I'm also not small. 8 points of damage. You vivisected me before I got a really good chance to fight as a human.
Well, maybe you'll die again.
Knowing my luck. If I keep dropping goblins, I'm going to become their favorite target soon.
And you finally see what he can do. He runs up and basically chops that goblin in half.
Wow, I mutter.
Say wow to that, but my flashing rapier drawn nothing.
Brawn, brawn before finesse.
One,
I
my character's
guess.
a Vonzig, so yes, I value brawn over finesse. And two, I don't think my character was angled to where he could see your awesomeness. I saw that straight on.
So, seeing what her brother just did, she seems to be emboldened. She tosses down her quarterstaff and draws out a very well made scimitar, and then screams like a primal Xena scream and charges this one. She hits him, slicing open his throat. She kills him, she hits an artery. Some of the blood pops out on her, and out of the corner of your eye, you see her lick a little bit of it off as she turns to fight another one.
I raised my eyebrow. I could get to like this girl.
Alright, well, I'm afraid he's not going to survive this time. You could try and heal him later if you want. But with one healing spell, I would metagame that.
My character doesn't even know he can heal yet.
Alright. Avenging his fallen comrade, he slices with his longsword, chopping the legs off of this one, taking him out of the battle for good. Alright, Kieran.
All right. I move into the fray, twirling my scimitars Obi-Wan Kenobi style. Excuse me, rapiers. And I should probably not twirl them like that.
Well, don't you get advantage when attacking with someone within 5 feet, or is that not the case?
Let me look it up. I know I get sneak attack. I don't know if that's considered advantage or not.
Maybe you don't. Well, today we're just going to call it a miss. I can't have you chop your leg off or something.
Okay, what it says is basically that I don't need advantage to get the sneak attack with somebody within 5 feet of it.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
So it's as if I have advantage without getting the benefit of advantage. I just get the sneak attack.
Alright, Kathan. So what spells do you have prepped for your first level?
Hey, wait a second. But aren't I flanking that guy? Wouldn't that give me advantage?
I think they technically took out flanking. We could make it a house rule if we want to flank, right? Or do they still have flanking in?
Not that I remember. I'll have to actually find my book and double check, but I don't remember there being any.
I
Let
remember
me flip
them.
to the combat section real quick.
Yeah, I thought I read something on Reddit. People were talking about the differences. That was like something people didn't like, was that there was no flanking anymore. But I think for full flanking, you had to be like behind him anyway, right?
By the way, speaking of spells, if I would have known to prep spells, it would have probably been Cure Wounds.
Well, how many spells did you get? Just one?
Let me find my book.
Because I'm going to say that seeing the men start falling, you get a free cure wounds. Basically, the light starts flowing through you, and you know that as long as you defeat these enemies in time, you can save that man. You also have some other inspiration, whatever you would choose at first level.
I think I get 2, but I'm just flipping to cleric right now.
While you guys are checking on rules, I'm going to go grab a drink real quick. Alright, I'm back.
Bless would have been my second spell prepped today.
Alright, you basically have 2 Cure Light wounds, or Cure wounds. You have the first one that you can use on that guy for free, and the second that you can use like as part of combat.
I'll save it for right now and try to bash the guy who's blocking me from getting to that dude.
Alright, swing away.
Yeah, I don't see
'Cause
anything.
I think he's in that square that second goblin's in.
Well, let's go ahead and say you do get advantage, but you'd have to be like totally behind him. So like,
Or I would say at least to the side, wouldn't you?
I think it used to have to be you had to be in opposing squares to get flanking.
Okay.
Like in 3rd edition. But we'll do that from now on. We'll do advantage. Of course, that goes for enemies too.
Not bad, 18 for 5.
Alright, he is significantly hurt. And this guy strikes at basically the same time, killing that one. Unfortunately, Kellic misses. Alina swings her scimitar, but doesn't take down that goblin. And this guy also goes down. Alright, Kieran?
All right, I'm going to move up, opposing the guy that the girl's fighting. Right there, I should be able to do that with my rogue abilities.
Okay.
And that will give me advantage, correct?
Yes. And those are both hits.
Very spectacular end to that goblin's life.
So basically, you go back up, you go to the other side. Uh, you chop the goblin in half like 3 times. He falls down in a puddle. As he falls down, you see her smiling at you, and she says, "Thank you."
I wink at her.
All right, back to Chthon.
You saw that, right?
Can I try one of my cantrips? Because I have Spare the Dying.
Sure.
I'm going to kneel down, grab something out of my pouch because I don't understand why it's working, and go, please, 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 don't let him die, don't let him die, as I start bandaging him, and technically I'm casting Spare the Dying.
And what does
So
that do?
He'll stabilize, and he won't have to make any death checks,
Okay.
but he won't get back up anytime soon.
Okay, so one of them is stabilized.
Yeah, the one that just fell into my face. I realize the other one I've got to get to faster and put more into.
All right, let me actually roll for that guy to see if he's still alive. What has it been? 3 turns?
Yeah, I've gone twice since he went down. So if he's had his turn already, yeah, it's been 3 turns.
All right, so remind me again what you have to do. You have to make your which check? I forget.
You make a Constitution check.
Against what difficulty? I normally have the books pulled up, but I just don't have enough room on the laptop. Guess it's time to bite the bullet and buy them.
Yeah. Yeah, I bought mine. Oh, speaking of buying things, do you know what happens Friday?
What's that?
I'm putting up some gums at work, and I look down, and I find two $100 bills on the floor.
Holy crap. Do you get to keep it if you find it?
Well, I asked everyone in the store if they lost any money. Nobody did. It had to have been a customer that was long gone, so I kept it.
Nice.
Roll a d20. If the roll is 10 or higher, you succeed. Otherwise, you fail. It's not even a Constitution check. It's just a straight d20.
And it's basically three of either stabilizes
Yeah.
you, right?
Keep rolling once a turn until you get 3 of one kind.
Once a turn.
Once a turn, I believe. Yep.
Oh, so he is actually not in any danger of dying. So, if you would like to save him, you can. But you'll have
Yep.
to burn a. Excuse me. You'll have to burn a spell.
I'm gonna run over to him. I'm gonna kneel, and I'm gonna start working frantically, seeing that he's been a lot worse wounded than the other one. I'll probably do some things that are kind of crazy, like rip open all the things in my healer's kit, and probably subconsciously not even think about it, grab from an herb that she has, and start binding it on the wound, and going, "Live, damn it, live!
She
Come
watch.
on, people above!
She watches
I know
you.
you're watching."
She watches you. At first, she was going to start helping, and then she sort of stops and looks at you. And she says, "Chthon, your hands are glowing."
By the way, I'm burning that free cure wound you're giving me on this one.
How much does that heal that guy back up?
9.
So I would have to put him back at positive, right?
Yeah.
So he's got 4 hit points left. So he's significantly hurt, but he's alive. He looks up. How? How did you do that, boy? And then she says, he's a healer. He just didn't know it.
I give him an appraising look. There's more to you than meets the eye. I
What are
turn
you
to the.
talking about?
You just saved 2 lives with your powers. Whether you
Powers? I don't have powers. Just
look,
good with
boy,
medicines.
when you've been on as many campaigns as I have, you learn to recognize things. You have a gift.
It's not the old ways, but you definitely have a magic about you.
I turn to the guy whose life that Cathan just saved. Boars, you take the other one, the one that's still unconscious. Get him back to the surface and to the healers.
Aye, I'll see if I can gather up some more men to come help.
Do that. Relieve the men on the watch post and send them.
That other one probably won't wake up till tomorrow. I gave him sleepweed.
So what kind of condition are you guys all in? She's taken like 3 hit points. Are you at 17?
17's my armor class as my hit points.
I meant to Kieran.
I'm fresh. No one's hit me yet.
I'm at 7. 17's my armor class. I'm down 3.
Oh, you guys are doing your armor class right there. Okay, got it. Yeah, it's a good idea. So you're doing your current hit points in green, and then your armor class in blue?
Correct.
Yep.
Brilliant.
I occasionally show strokes of that. Not always.
You stole it from
Occasionally.
Scott.
You really did. All right. As the 2 wounded soldiers are leaving, I tell the party, okay, the torches have gone out. Everyone stay close. We cannot wait here for reinforcements. We have to push forward.
Okay, so that encounter occurred right over here. You get the impression that they probably came from like this direction over here somewhere. Where do you want to try and go look next?
We're gonna go clear out this cubby area right here and make sure that's cleared out. Then we're gonna head up this way.
All right. As the group walks over here, assuming like the standard, formation, you see a little bit more about what the goblins might have been doing here. There's more excavations that have happened, some in the walls, but then it looks like there was actually a fairly consistent excavation that happened in the floor of the cavern. There's discarded tools all around, several of them broken because the floor was very hard. But they dug down about 8 or 9 feet. It looks almost like this area might have been targeted for something, but then it looks like it was discarded essentially.
Let me see if I can determine what they're digging for.
Did
Roll.
it have any sort of ritual appearance to it? Because I would say my character still knows some of that because he, would steal looks at books that merchants had and things like that. Because I took my same skills like Arcana and Religion.
Yeah, roll. Jeremy, roll an Arcana check. And Scott, go ahead and roll Perception. So Kieran knows that he's seen this sort of behavior before. It's the kind of digging that someone would do if they were trying to get like an ancient buried treasure, or like an artifact. You've seen it before, mostly with like humans. You've never really seen this sort of behavior from a lower race like a goblin before. They normally just plunder and take whatever's available, and don't worry too much about you know uh, looking for something that's buried.
This is quite odd behavior for goblins. I fear that something more dread is driving them to do this. There's a greater danger deeper in this cavern. Be on your toes.
Aye, and look at this. So Kellic is holding one of their eyeballs and he puts it up into your face, like 2 inches from your nose. It's not red anymore. Look!
Interesting.
He puts it in your face too, Cathan. See? It's not red!
I see, and it smells. Please.
Smells? He sniffs it. Smells like an eyeball.
Does it taste like an apple?
Do you say that to him?
Yes.
He puts it in his mouth. He crunches it a little bit, spits it out. Tastes like a goblin eyeball. He acts like really kind of sure of himself. Yeah,
I wonder if they were possessed.
I
he
just give him a toothy grin.
he's gonna have to have a negative modifier on his intelligence.
Okay, I say we continue the search. Whatever they're looking for, or whoever is down here, we must put a stop to it now.
All right, let's say that this is sort of distorted. As you start getting over to this cavern, this actually goes on quite a bit further. Let's say this is like a quarter of a mile essentially. As you start getting into like this area, you start hearing echoes further down of possibly like live excavating. The sound of pickaxes hammering into the ground, shovels, that sort of thing.
Okay, as we move into that cavern, I leave chalk marks to indicate what direction the reinforcements are to go. Our soldiers would know to look for it. So you guys see me drawing on the walls and floor with chalk.
Okay, once this starts to become pretty long, I'm gonna lean over to Yelena and go, "What do you mean early?" I'm gonna whisper really quietly, but I'm not gonna try to whisper through a microphone and say, "What do you mean by the old way?"
She says, "Look at me. I heal by the ways of the goddess and nature. I've known I've been a healer my whole life. Why have you been so ignorant about it?"
I don't know what you're talking about. My dad just said I was good with animals. I've helped him birth calves and do stuff like that for a long time. And that's the first time I've ever seen my hands freaking glow, ever.
I think you have better skills than making animals mate. All right, as you get near to that opening that I pinged before, there's a series of three goblins who are on a lookout. Um, Kieran, you spot them from a distance. They're going to be very, very difficult to try and surprise, if that's the idea.
Well, I guess there's no help for it. We're just gonna have to go attack them. I mean, I could try a range shot with my crossbow, but I'd say we just go bash 'em. You tell the party. It doesn't look like we're going to be able to be stealthy. Um, so let's be overwhelmingly powerful in our assault.
So are we going to charge, or are we going to try to shoot them?
We're going to charge.
Okay.
I'll pull my rapiers and lead the charge.
All right, go ahead and roll initiative again.
You got a battle map?
Oh, sorry. Yeah, let me move you back there. Did you roll initiative, Jeremy?
Yeah, I got an 8. I didn't see our tokens when initiative came up, so I just rolled the correct stat for it.
Well, Kieran, by a large margin, you get to go first.
All right, I yell at an elvish battle cry as I charge this guy in front.
Singawaka!
One of those is a crit, isn't it?
Yep. He knows he's about to die.
$11.
It doesn't
What a
matter.
freaking one!
He still dies immediately.
So I killed him in a really awesome manner. You saw that one, right, Jeremy?
Cthon is like so unimpressed by everything. Except for his.
I'm a teenager. Of course I've got to be unimpressed. But yeah, I said that, and I probably said note to self, don't PO the commander.
Alright, Cthon?
The commander is like a blade master. That's what I'm calling myself. There's got to be an order of blade masters, and I have to be a member. Kind of like in the Wheel of Time with the Heron Mark blade.
Maybe you'll start your own order. And you missed, bro.
Yep, there's a first time for everything.
You'll never hit again in this campaign.
God, I hope that's not true.
He misses. Back to you, Kieran.
Alright, I'm going to move around behind this guy. I'm going to shout something else in Elvish. A curse upon goblins.
Oh yeah, I get advantage. Oh wait, never mind.
29 damage as I slice and dice with
He-
style.
He's dead. Cthon? Unfortunately, you guys have made a bit of noise this time. And you hear quite a few voices down the corridor. All of the banging stops, and you hear the sounds of the creatures getting ready for battle.
Okay, I swipe my rapiers to the side to sling the blood off of them. You can see the inner rage in my eyes as I'm ready to kill every goblin in existence.
That's a lot of footsteps.
Take heart, lad.
I'm looking at you looking for direction at this point.
Prepare yourselves. This fight is not done.
I keep seeing all these tokens I want to use that are for sale. I need to just like spend the money on this each month. You get like there's a bunch of sets that they've released for free. If you pay like a certain amount each month, you get like a free token set each month, and you get to use them, whenever. I also need to stop deleting all the goblins, because every time I completely delete them, I've got to go search for goblin again.
Okay, while you're preparing mechanically, right before they get into eye shot, I'm going to start bending down and mumbling, asking for my ancestors to watch over us. And I'm going to go ahead and drop Bless. My character's not going to know he's doing it, but he's going to, like, please watch over us, family of mine. And I'm going to bless Scott and, I'm never going to remember your NPC's characters' names, but I'm going to try. I'm going to bless Scott, Yelena, and Kellic. You basically get a d4 that you get to add to your attack rolls and your saving throws to help determine accuracy and such. And as long as I concentrate on it for up to a minute, so pretty much right before battle starts.
Wait, so you get a what?
So we get a D4 to add to our attack rolls and saving throws?
Yes. So if you roll barely a miss and you get that d4 additional added to it.
That's pretty OP.
It's up to a minute. A combat round's 10 seconds, so 10 rounds.
Coming
Make it
around
count.
6 seconds. Yeah. Yeah, 10 rounds. Awesome.
It's also one of my 2 first level spells, so. It's attacks and saving throws, not initiative checks.
Okay, I yelled to the party. Form a line. We'll fight them at the choke point.
All right. Do you guys want to line these guys up? How do you want them lined up?
Probably in a line straight down from where I am. Where only 4 of those guys can get to us at once. Leave the druid lady in the back.
If you try and put her in the back, she's going to just crowd up forward.
Okay.
Cathan, do you want to stay in the back, or do you want to charge forward?
I probably needed to hang back to be able to bless everybody. That makes sense, actually. So I could reach everybody.
Did you already roll initiative, Scott?
Yeah, I got like a 22. It's on the turn order. And Jeremy had an 18. That's a familiar token over there.
All right. So as you enter this room, the goblins have sort of formed up. Let's actually do a little bit better than that. There's 7 of them, 4 abreast up front, 3 basically behind those. They're actually acting like they might be trying to fight with some tactics this time. This must be the best of them. This one behind is a larger goblin. He's not like a hobgoblin. He's just a larger goblin. Um, as you see these creatures in the flashback, you actually have to fight to stay in the vision. There's like a horrible reaction upon seeing them, almost as if there's some impending dread about to happen. But this is very reminiscent of the scene that you just experienced. They've actually dug this big pit, make it a little less uniform. But the goblins have done a lot of work and dug this pit. One of these creatures is actually holding something. It's some sort of onyx figure. Much like in the present day, they're completely ignoring you. This one is basically starting to walk over to maybe talk to this one. You're not entirely sure, but he's starting to walk around the pit to try and get close to this one. Kieran, your turn.
All right, I'm gonna take out this guy right here. I'm gonna shoot him with my crossbow. 7 points of damage.
Cathan?
I'm gonna do the same. Remembering that I have it from when I went hunting, I'm going to go ahead and attack with the crossbow.
He's like, that's a good idea. Unfortunately, you're not quite as skilled with it.
And I didn't bother to bless myself, so yeah.
So he yells out, "What is this shite?" and runs forward, charging. And if he hits, there's very little chance they're going to live. It almost seems like you guys leveled up like halfway through here somewhere. I don't know how, but you guys are like much more powerful.
We pretty much have all combat classes too, so it's not like we're wading into this without preparation.
That's a good point. And they're just goblins. I mean, the hit points don't scale very well, but your attacks are still pretty good at first level.
Did we skip over the foot soldier?
I think he's further down. Did I? Oh, I did go through him, didn't I?
Yeah, I'm gonna say blood and bloody ashes, these flaming idiots. Garen, get up there.
Alright, she is significantly hurt now. She actually starts looking like she's really scared, like she's taken a bad wound to her side, and she looks like she could fall over.
Yelena, our druid,
Yes. And now this guy had sort of been watching, and he sees some weakness, and now comes over here to attack Garen. He swings at him twice, and he hits him for enough to slice him and knock him unconscious. Kieran, your turn.
All right. Garen's a soldier. He knows what he's getting into. I can't let this village girl die, so I'm going to move over here and attack the goblin right in front of her.
And hit in, well, one hit.
Roll a d4 to add to your rolls to hit.
Oh, well, that's going to hit. Unless you roll a 1. Well, actually, if you roll a 1, it hits.
So 2 hits. Sweet.
Dude, that spell's OP. Why haven't you been using that like the whole campaign?
Because I didn't realize what it did.
Yeah, that's true. We're all learning the spells again.
And that goblin dies horribly.
Alright, Chthon.
Well, the first rule of triage is prevent people from killing those you're trying to heal, so...
Going after the big guy. That's a hit.
That was almost a crit. And I maxed out the damage. Get away from him, you fiend! Wham! That would have been a maximum critical damage. Oh well.
Unfortunately, Kellic misses.
Wait, he gets D4 too.
Oh, good point. That's going to hit.
Yeah, I bless the named characters.
And he kills that one. Hey, what does Goodberry do? Isn't that a healing spell?
Let me look it up.
Up to 10 berries in your hand are infused with magic for the duration. A creature can use an action to eat one berry. Eating a berry restores 1 hit point, and the berry provides enough nourishment to sustain a creature for 1 day. So yes, it's a healing spell, but it's more of a... It has better alternate uses.
She looks a little disappointed in herself and eats the one berry. He turns to face the major. Oh, he's down, actually. I forgot. Alright, he misses you, Kieran. Alright, Kellic looks considerably hurt now too. He basically steps over your guy to attack Chthon.
That's gonna hit.
Ooh. So it'll take you down to a couple of hit points.
Yep, that's bad.
Come at me, you monster! Dance with a blade master.
Yeah, you know what? Roll like a some sort of intimidate check. What do you have that is good?
Well, I'm proficient with intimidation.
Yep, roll it. You know what? He sort of looks at Chthon, sees that he's pretty hurt. He looks at the barbarian, sees he's pretty hurt. He decides to take you up on the challenge. Does an 18 hit?
Yes.
Do I get an attack of opportunity?
Sure, why not?
Please kill this guy.
Bro said he was bigger than normal. I don't think one more shot's gonna kill him. I can do a maximum of 8 more damage to him.
And that does hit.
Well, I've garnered 16 points of damage on him.
He's still up. Unfortunately, that drops Kieran below 0. So Kieran will pass out. So you'll have to start making save checks for death. Go ahead and roll now. Just one d20. And that's a bad one. Alright, Chthon, what do you want to do?
That goblin's getting an attack of opportunity because I'm gonna start tearing up and go, "Damn it, Captain! You're the only one getting us out of this mess." And I'm gonna try to go kill Scott if this guy doesn't drop me. Not
And
enough.
he misses. This goblin's like, watch out, boy!
Maximum. Now kill this mofo.
That brings me back up to 9.
Get up, Captain!
I get back on my feet, wipe the blood from my lips, and smile at the big goblin. This dance is not done.
She sees her brother's hurt, flies into a berserker rage, charges this guy, but is not able to hurt him. You know what? Let's skip to you, Kieran.
All right. It's going to be a big guy. I smile at him again.
Two hits.
I make sure that he sees the herons on my blades as I slice into him. I love seeing all those dice fly. $33 points of damage.
Cathon.
And a swing and a miss.
Oh yeah, you didn't bless yourself. Somebody just got owied.
Apparently, you can do plus and minus on this. I didn't realize that. But if you put in minus, it doesn't actually make you at minus anything. All right, so he is dropped down to the ground, significantly hurt. Well, he could be dying. All right, Kieran, your turn.
Who is he?
Kellic, the barbarian.
Kellic. Damn it. Okay.
Sorry, I forget you can't see when I'm doing stuff.
All right, so I dance around this guy because battle for me is truly a dance to behind this goblin, and I slice and dice.
$22 is a hit. I already removed him.
Oh, okay.
All right, Cathon.
Okay, my character doesn't know what he's doing, but I do. Spare the dying on our barbarian friend. I'm gonna try to cure, but my character's out of that kind of spell, but I know enough to prevent him from dying.
We're just gonna call that a miss. Alright, just then, the rest of your men show up and run in. And one of them takes out that goblin very easily.
By the way, that other guy that's in front of our barbarian, if he made his death saving throws, I'll spare the dying him as well.
So you step over him and start trying to save him, and you see that he's already passed. And Alina comes over to you and looks up at you and says, "You can't save them all."
I'm gonna turn my head away from them and just start crying silently.
So if you listen closely, these creatures are talking in a language you can't understand. They're sort of passing back and forth this artifact and conversing about it. Much like before, you can't tell exactly where they are. They seem to be moving from hex to hex, basically. They don't seem to be occupying one place at any one time.
Not being a veteran adventurer, I haven't probably even noticed them yet.
Oh no, you would have seen them. They definitely stood out as you walked in.
By Dork's flaming backside. What are those things?
They seem to not be paying any attention to you at all. Your men step out in front. This guy turns around and says, "Orders, sir?" He's like, "We'll do it if we're told to, but we don't really want to."
OOC. I'm not really sure what to do here. I really don't think we should attack these things.
They have something shiny. The bad guys can't get away with a shiny thing. And besides, our characters don't know anything about these creatures yet.
Well,
Men, these creatures have been using the goblins to search for this some artifact that those creatures have. Retrieve it! Because at this point, the bloodlust is on me.
yes, sir. So what you see is that all of these guys basically run up and surround them. Uh, the creatures don't react at all as they run up until they start striking. Uh, 3 of the blows land completely in the wrong place. So it looks like their blades are swinging and they'll be critical, but then all of a sudden the creature's not actually there. 2 of them seem to strike near where the creature is, but both of the creatures, this one and this one, react at the last minute. This one reacts from a blow from this guy. This one reacts from a blow from this guy. Neither of their blows are true, but they've definitely taken notice of these 2 people right here. You see some sort of fell energy come from the eyes of this creature and reach out to attack this person, and he's immediately set into flame and dies immediately. This creature claws at this person. And as he hits him, it looks like he barely touches him with the tips of his claws. And not only does he die, but as he's touched, he essentially ceases being.
Fall back, men, fall back.
So yeah, these guys are more than happy to comply. They go into full retreat. The creatures then they start talking to each other more quickly. Uh, they pass the little onyx statue back and forth one more time. Then they just drop it on the ground and disappear.
Okay, I go to retrieve the statue.
When you pick up the statue, it feels very cold, almost like it's been outside, like in the dead of winter, sitting for hours. Um, you can hold it, but it's definitely not comfortable. You would want to wear gloves or something when holding it. So if you can imagine like a carving of like a primitive man, it's sort of like that, except the carving has twisted features on it. The face sort of looks like it's been uh, maybe mutated or scarred somehow. Um, its arms are out of proportion. One of them seems longer than the other, and its legs have been replaced by some sort of weird stump that couldn't possibly be something that could actually walk around on.
Okay, I slip it into my pouch and intend to show it to what's the lady's name that's one of the 7?
Kalina.
I intend to show it to Lady Kalina when she shows up. Alright, men, let's be out of this place. The threat is gone for now. So gather up the dead and go.
So you basically lost one guy. You're able to make it out pretty easily, and you guys did a great job for first level characters.
Yay!
Woot, we got the crap kicked out of us, and I burnt every spell in the book to keep everybody alive, and we barely made it out of here alive.
Well, in all honesty, when I go figure out these encounters, you'll easily be at level 2. Maybe close to level 3.
Yeah, and don't forget that life-saving intimidation check.
Actually, I'm gonna give both of you guys a what's it called? Like a karma point, but they call it something different. Like for
Inspiration.
yeah, both of you guys are gonna get an inspiration point. Scott for intimidating the guy at the right point, and Jeremy for risking his own life when he was at 2 hit points to go heal Kieran up.
Woot.
Sweet.
All right, help me figure out exactly how many we killed, because I wasn't writing it down, unfortunately. I don't have my normal notepad like I normally do.
All right, we got 2 in the first encounter, 8 in the second encounter, 3, then 7 plus the big guy. Is that right?
Yeah, 20 plus the big guy.
All right, let me go find the calculator real quick. Do you have to go pretty quick, bro?
No, I don't have to go to work tomorrow.
All right, then let's figure out some treasure, because the treasure's gotten so messed up. I have to be honest. Like, I wasn't really sure what to give you guys.
All right. I'll be right back. I gotta hit the bathroom.
Sure.
Give me like a minute to find my DMG before we start talking treasure, because if you're gonna want official stuff, I'm gonna have to look it up.
Well, I have like a calculator. I just want some guidance, maybe.
Okay, what are you looking for guidance wise?
Well, give me a minute. Let me do this real quick.
All right, then maybe AFK and get something to drink.
Yep, no problem.
I have returned.
Welcome back. So guess how much XP you got?
Enough to get the third?
Yeah, 1200 XP.
Okay, third or second? I was joking about third.
No, if you look, 900 is what it takes to get to... No, 300 is what it takes to get to second level. 900 is what it takes to get to third.
Laws and stuff?
So your characters didn't do a whole lot between the time the pre thing ends uh, and the modern time starts.
Au contraire, we did as much as your story needs us to. After all, it's 1500 more XP to level 4. And then another... Well, we started at level 4, didn't we?
You started at 5. Or
I
maybe it
thought we
was
started
4.
at 4.
Maybe it was.
And I thought we leveled to 5.
Alright. Did you see, that's how much gold you guys got for your recent adventures? Back in the future. Present, whatever.
And that's total?
Yeah, I kind of eyeballed it. We haven't really done anything that you get a lot of treasure for, honestly.
Yeah, we haven't.